Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with three S's. I'm your host, Chantele Francis, here with my amazing co-host, Drew from Angelcake Entertainment Channel. How are you today, Drew?
I'm doing quite well. How are you doing?
I'm doing quite well myself. I have to say, I'm really enjoying the challenge in general. I think it's because we have people shaking things up. People are getting mad. There's so many conversations and sides that are being, coming up. Like there's so much going on. And then the newscast has dropped. I haven't even looked at it yet. I don't even know who's dropped yet because I think I'm gonna do a blind reaction after we pod here. I just like go on and see who's on this list. So I don't know. I'm feeling all good about the challenge.
That's good. I'm happy you're feeling very excited about the challenge.
You're not?
I've gotten some tidbits from my Discord talking about the who's speculative on the USA 2, and I mean it's getting there. It's a cast. But I would like to hear
Oh,
your thoughts about it.
well, I don't
I
know
want to
yet.
sit down and think when the full cast list comes out. I'll make a video about my reaction and everything, and I'm sure I'll feel differently in a couple of days, but I'm it's getting there. There's still
It's getting
names
there.
popping up and popping out and everything, so
Okay, so it's not. So I shouldn't look yet. I shouldn't. I shouldn't record a
you
reaction.
can. I just wouldn't get attached to anybody that is
Oh.
talking about it, because I just know that with this, like, alternates are going to be mentioned, and then like some people can be added, some people can be dropped. So
Well, some people
we'll
have
see.
been dropped that I've been happy about. So there's that. Well, we have our friends joining us. Of course, we have lovable Nikki. Hello. Chris, of course. Lauren, Sue, Willie. Yes, it is Friday. Happy Friday. Happy Good Friday, everybody. Hope we're
Woo!
having a better Good Friday than me. I was letting Drew know that I was all amped up to get some errands done to find out that every store that I needed to go to was closed for the holiday. So that's how good my Friday is going. But I'm happy to be here. I am happy to be here. Doom and gloom. Why are you so doom and gloom?
I am
What's
not.
one name that you just can't stand being on that list?
Is it so wrong for somebody to be a little bit cautious with their feelings towards a certain cast and
Right.
everything? I mean, I'll be honest, the Challenge USA was not my favorite challenge. So getting a second season, I understand it from rating standpoint, but seeing some of the cast members and then knowing it's a USA 2, I'm going to be cautiously optimistic moving forward. I'm trying to guard and protect my heart. All
Oh,
right.
your heart. Let's protect your heart at all costs. Yes. So Lauren says if MTV people are going to be on the Challenge USA, then what is the difference between this and the main show? A shorter season, uh,
Barely nothing.
shorter, shorter episodes. Um, yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
that's
Barely anything.
on CBS, not MTV. So more accessible because MTV, not everybody has that channel. Also, Paramount
Yeah.
Plus, not everybody has that streaming platform. Hello,
I'm
Dolores.
I'm wondering when it's going to come out because they're not going to be following a Big Brother season because it's like not even started filming yet. So they're not even going to be close to coming out the same time as the last one. So I'm interested.
That's all I got. That's all I've got. I mean, these are truthful reasons, you know what I know? Well, we are not here to talk about the Challenge USA season 2. But what does your chalkboard mean? 2 in 1. What does that
That
mean?
two people left in one episode.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah.
how are we feeling? Let's just get right to it. So we were speculating as to why there would have been a to be continued at that particular moment. I was heavily feeling as though Wes must not make it through, and they wanted people to not be disappointed. And that definitely was part of the reason, I think. What do you think?
I think that was part of the reason. I also think that because of there not being an elimination at the end of this past week's episode and because of the injury that happened, that they wanted at least one elimination to happen, at least this episode. When, yeah, I just think that's also the case as well. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm a little bummed. I'm a bummed that two very strong teams, the two people that won the qualifier and then also
Mm.
won with their partners who are also champions, recent champions of All Stars 3, are now gone. And it kind of makes me a little bit, all right.
Definitely. I mean, as much as I was annoyed with Janae, I definitely did not want to see her go out this way. And also with Wes, I am actually kind of disappointed with Wes's performance in this particular elimination. You know, he even says in one of his confessionals, like, oh, if you lose here, like it's an embarrassment. And I think that he didn't perform very well. He knew that Zara had super skinny arms and that she didn't feel confident holding up these weights on her small little arms against Casey. And he started with the hard questions and then he added it up wrong and then he went to the easier questions, but he needed to keep on hammering out those heavy ones to try to build them up onto Casey to give them a shot at being able to outlast her. And I think he failed.
Yeah, I understand him going with the easier questions to see if he could get them really quick and maybe add on a ton of weight before maybe Ben getting too many of the questions right. But the easier questions weren't as easy as I think a lot as he was hoping, and it was taking just as long for an easy question than it would for a hard question. So I too agree that he should have done the harder
Just
ones
go hard, heavy,
and just try
hard.
to like get like 3 of them right and see if Casey can like kind of fall over. But this also wasn't my favorite elimination. it was
I kind
it
of
was
liked it
relatively bad.
though, but like I just didn't think it was equally matched, so it wasn't fun. But like
Yeah.
I like math personally. And you know, I thought that this was just like a little bit of a twist on like a math puzzle here. Now what do you I know that Zara was worried about her dyslexia and maybe having to deal with the numbers. Do you think it would have been better though if maybe they had flipped it? And because Casey, we know Casey is not good at math. Maybe they would have had a better shot there.
Maybe.
And Ben's shoulder,
Yeah, I don't know. I also don't know what the
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 rules.
ruling was for if the audience could help, because if say Zara was up there and Kaz and Jordan could have helped her in the math problem, maybe they would have stood a chance, or if maybe she could have said the numbers maybe to Wes and he could have been helping out while he was holding the weights. But yeah, I just don't think that it was their elimination to win, especially when they were going up against, say, Ben and Casey. I just felt like they were going to be able to hold more weight. And Ben was actually doing pretty well in the math questions. So it was not good all around for them.
Now, I mentioned this already when I went live talking about this yesterday, but I cried when she dropped the weights because I really
Okay.
felt as though Zara, okay, and she was trying so hard, like she really wanted it. She didn't want to let Wes down, and her body just couldn't take that weight. Like she probably weighs maybe 110 pounds. This is like almost twice her weight that she was carrying, and so with her little arms, I felt bad for her.
Yeah, I can see that. And I mean, she even said like Wes's name when she was shaking up there. And it didn't
She's
help
like,
when
Wes.
Ben was putting on the weights and he was like shaking the weighted bar when he was like trying to get it to go down. I think that was also a part of the strategy of maybe trying to get her
Yeah.
off balance a little bit like earlier. So yeah, it was tough. I mean, again, I don't think Ben and Casey were a bad person to throw into the elimination, but if we knew what the elimination was, maybe Darrell and Kiki would have thought differently about that. But at the same time, it's just, I don't know. Looking back on it, these two competitions weren't my favorite to watch at the end of the day, but it just kind of stinks at the end of this episode that we have two pretty big contenders, really strong teams go out. But it also opens up the floor for more strategy, different teams to start winning, maybe, and maybe some teams to be jockeying for position, which I'm looking forward to. So maybe there's some sunshine at the end of this, but right now I'm kind of like two teams just gone. Two strong teams gone.
And like Zara, look how fierce she is in this photo. We're not going to get to see this photo anymore. But congratulations to Wes in his personal life. His wife is expecting a little one, and so things are going well for him in his personal life. None like CT. Oh my Lanta, have you seen all the news about CT?
No, what happened?
Oh, maybe let me play it for you. Sorry, we're going to take a little moment away from this episode, and I'm going to play for you what's happening. Oh my, it's kind of long though. Do you care?
I don't mind.
You don't care. Good, great.
I'm very intrigued right now.
You're intrigued. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can get this up for us.
Is it juicy? Because
it's decent. I mean, it's decently juicy. Yeah, I would say.
I might need somebody to record this and send it to me because of a project I might be doing later.
Oh, well, I have it recorded, and so I will send it to you. Hold on, let me just see. Okay, let's do that. Let's remove that right now.
I appreciate the pun, Patricia. Spill the CT.
Oh, the CT. I'm sure they all know what the CT is. It's pretty. It's what's going on today, Okay. CT's being
the one night
spilled.
I don't have tea is the night that we do have tea to watch.
We got tea. All right, ready?
What am I supposed to say? What do I want to say? I want to clear the air. Maybe I'm tired of getting dragged. Look, I can look my mother, my father, my son, baby mama, her parents to God in the eye and say, I'm not right. I can't. Yeah, I'm not right. Right side or wrong. I did. I do. I can honestly say I've given you everything you've asked for, including this divorce. Why am I getting dragged? Defamation. I'm supposed to just take it, don't say nothing. It's going to get used against you in court. What about this? The fuck did I ever do? Living a secret life. $70,000 a year. No bills. You've been hiding money. Where's all your money? Apparently I was blocked last summer. I didn't even know. For dating a fucking stripper for fucking Magic Mike. And this is the guy who's paying all your bills at the new place now because you ain't working. You ain't got a job. You don't have a car because you almost killed yourself. The judge said, no, you ain't getting any more money. Right? Because you're a fucking mess. I had to pay for your attorney. The attorneys wanted me to go and drop off the check personally. But I was like, okay, she wants more money. I'll send it to her. No. Her attorneys want you to go and drop it off personally. I'm like, what do you mean? Well, if we don't do that, they don't trust her with the money. If you don't do that, then they're going to have to postpone the mediation. Fuck. We go to mediation. Take whatever you want. Take it all. You asked for this. Take what. No one's stopping you. Go away. Why are you still here? Why are you still living in my house? Why are you? Oh, here we go. Oh, now hostile environment. This, that, and the other thing. You try to keep me out of the house. Full custody of the kid. I didn't even know I had a life insurance policy. I don't know who's counseling her. And the reason why she got upset was because she was the one that wanted to file. She didn't think I was going to do it. Well, it's a shame. Didn't have to come to this. We talked about it. I remember her, like, she had a moment of clarity where it was like, I don't even know if I know how to be happy. You've given me everything I ever wanted. You're the best man in my life, blah, blah, blah. I don't want child support. I don't even want alimony. The $200,000 I gave you to open up a nightclub. Give me that back. I'll give you $150 of it so I can pay some taxes. And go ahead. Go away. Instead, you're not getting off that easy. Next thing you know, I'm hemorrhaging for the next, I don't know how many months. Paying for everything. it wasn't until mediation when she was talking about, and the mediator was like, she's not going to get alimony because she's been making 70 grand a year. I was like, what, how much? Well, you didn't know? No, I didn't know. Fuck. She didn't pay one fucking, where's all the money? Good question. You know? Well, until we got the financial statements, we realized me and CJ were her secret life. You know what? The closure, I was never going to get closure from her. The only closure I got was when I realized the same thing she's doing to me with this new guy is the same thing I did to her first husband. Yeah. That's it. I didn't know. I really didn't know. She told me her ex-fiance was cheating on us. I didn't know she was still married. Shit. She was pregnant with my child while she was still technically married to him. I didn't have any rights as a father. Poor guy. I had no idea. I had no idea. I apologize. I didn't know. This guy right now, oh God, he's doing the same thing. This guy probably thinks I'm the biggest piece of shit. Right? Little does he know, my son, every day he's over here, tells me, Dad, I wish I could live with you because it's uncomfortable at Mom's place. Why? Because every time Mom has a guy over, I'm not allowed to leave my room. Every time Mom has a friend over, I'm not allowed to leave my room. He knows it's more than a friend. She doesn't work. She doesn't have a job. She doesn't have a car. 24 for rent, plus utilities. It's like $45,000 to $5,000 a month. This dude is paying for it. Mr. Knight in Shining Armor. Totaled my fucking $45,000 Benz brand new. See ya. Doesn't have a job. You got some random dude. Here's the thing though. Any dude in the right mind that's got money, that's just that other thing. They're not just gonna dive in and fall into the love bomb. This must have been gassed up for a long fucking time, and that's the reason why no one would look me in the eye anymore. All of her friends. Don't get me wrong. After I cashed out back to back, boom, I'm home now. I said I was gonna do everything I said I was gonna do, and I did it faster than before with more. Now I'm gonna stay home, work on my sweatpants collection, be a stay-at-home dad, and fucking straight slay out. That's it. And then when I finally do that, I don't know what the fuck happened, everybody. I don't. There ain't no narcissistic bullshit. Everybody on fucking bullshit threads want to act like, no. Fuck you. I lost 65 fucking pounds, straight Jack Diesel, 40-something-year-old, straight slaying out, murdering it. I'm going to be a stay-at-home dad with the salt and pepper, hit him with the George Clooney, Sean Connery, and be a fucking Michael Keaton. That was the jam. That's what you asked for. That's what you wanted. You proposed to me 3 times before I left. I can go even deeper. We don't have to. But what really pissed me off was when I really wish we had more of an open dialogue. You know what? I'll open that channel. Fine. What do you want? Fine. You want to be a better co-parent? You want to? Okay. The better way to do that is like, look, Lily, if we're going to be closer friends, and I'm open to that. Look, I don't want to be a friend. I have so many unresolved issues, so many unanswered questions. And if we're going to be better parents, I need some answers. And at this point, it doesn't matter. From where you're coming from, it's never going to happen again. I hope that hole in your heart gets filled. And when you meet somebody, you know what? Go and shine bright. Go fly away. It doesn't matter anymore. Tell me what the fuck is going on. What happened? Because I said to her, look, Lily, all I wanted was, I just wanted you to show me that you cared. I wanted you to fight for me. I got tired of being the only one fighting for it. So when I started to pull away, I just wanted you to, and you didn't. And instead it was, I'll show you. But that's what you wanted. You wanted to chase me out the door and say that I left. Because you're already living a secret life, obviously. Because as far back as I can see on social media and everything else, it's just fucking sad. It is. And all of her friends are flying monkeys that were enabling her. Not one person told her something she didn't want to hear. Not one real friend. Now, here's the thing. Even her mother, I feel bad. God, I love her mother. However, like my mother is the type of person that's she'll be there for me, but she has no problem embarrassing me in front of everybody and put me in my place. I better come correct. You know, not one fucking person. So we're talking, and I'm like, look, Lily, no, look, if we're gonna talk about being cool again, I have someone answer. Oh, I just want to talk about him and being better co-parents. That's fine, but the only way you're gonna be that way is if we're closer together. Look, Lily, I don't need you to tell me to be a better parent. Oh, I'm the best fucking parent. I've been my whole life revolves around this. You got a lot of nerve trying to tell me to be better when you can't even afford to put food on your table. What does that mean? Let's be honest.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, isn't that sad? I love CT. I'm like, CT, I'll date you. I'll be nice.
Yeah, that is tough to watch because I mean it's it's a bad situation. I've when they were going through the divorces and starting the divorce process, it was all the news was that it was going to be bad, and it got to a point where he felt like he needed to say his side publicly, and it's just tough, you know. You want that support system for him, and it sounds like he has people that are there for him, but it got to a point where he just felt like he needed to say it publicly, and yeah, yeah, I don't know.
He
Yeah,
needs a hug.
yeah,
CT, like we've seen the evolution of CT. I watched him on The Real World Paris back in the day, like when it was airing, and I just remember he was, that kid with a chip on his shoulder, and he was just so chaotic, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like, but he had a charm about him that you still wanted him to do well, and then you'd come on the challenge and he get into fights and get kicked off, and then he had the love story with Diem, and so like we've just been watching his growth and his evolution and seeing him mature into who he is today. And I never was a fan of Lily. I watched his special on MTV about them getting married, and I just remember it just seemed like she didn't like the life that he had. Like the reason why she knew him most likely was because he was on the challenge and he was so successful on that series. But she hated the challenge. She hated his friends from the challenge, and I was like, but that's him. This is
hmm
a really big part of him, and I just was always thinking that, like, I hope that he's actually happy, because like he's changing so much to make her happy. I hope that it works out. And yeah, I guess my hoping wasn't enough, unfortunately. But hopefully now, if he's out of the situation, that he'll be able to, take care of his son and have a happier life. But I'm really sad for him.
yeah. And Chris brings up a good point. That you you hope that the two adults can come together at a certain point, because CJ is going to be the one that's going to be suffering the most, even though CT is very, very sad and upset at this moment. I mean, there's a lot that gets put on CJ as well, even if they're going through their own stuff. So, I mean, it's just a tough situation all the way around. And yeah, I just hope for some resolution I just hope for some resolution. I don't know what else to say. That
I
was rough to
know.
start off the
I
off
like,
the
well,
stream with.
you always hear of everything, so I did not realize that you hadn't heard it yet. And then I was like, well, I can't leave you hanging like this. And I didn't want to just explain it. It was better just for you to see it. I felt so. Um,
Yeah, it's rough because I've been in my own bubble, because I've gotten to a point where I've just been working on the Car Maria Part 3 video for like just in my own bubble and not checking out anything. Like the most news I get from this week was in my own Discord with everybody there. So I appreciate everybody who was like updating me through like notifications there. But yeah, that I didn't see that
this just
full.
popped up today, I believe. So
Yeah.
You might be able to find the video on Reddit without having it be like a post of a post of a post. Um, yeah, that's I don't know where I think I saw it on like the challenge T. Um, yes, little Mickey, let's get CT into some therapy, and one of us will date him. I mean, I think what's your sign, Nikki? Because I believe CT is a Cancer, and Cancer and Aquarius aren't the best together. So if you have a better sign match with him, I will let you have him. But I support this union no matter what. So anything else you want to say about this? I'm sorry. A secret light, but she's in TV. She's in TV. Lily? I don't remember her being in TV. Oh, Pisces. Nikki, you would probably be a good match. Two water signs together. You
Nice.
will be emotionally be able to support each other. Yes. That I support this union. Make it happen. Let's do it. Let's put it out into the universe and bring you both together. So where is he living right now? Is he living in Miami?
I believe so, yeah.
Nikki, are you in Miami? I don't believe you are, but I could maybe. Let's see. All right, we're gonna put it into the universe. Yeah, I don't believe that Lily's in TV. I think Secret Life, meaning that she has this new partner relationship that CT didn't know about, so that she's been able to just kind of jump into a new relationship and just discard of CT. You know.
Yeah.
I want to be invited to the wedding as well. Both your I'll get whatever you need to get to officiate weddings, and yes, I'll officiate both your weddings or your weddings union together. I know, amazing. Yes. Oh, Chris is also an Aquarius. Yes. I just don't think it would be the best sun sign match, but anything can work. But Pisces and Cancer are an easier match to work with. Oh my god, oh my god, we're already making this happen because stay at my place. Like it's hilarious. Okay, well, let's go back to this episode. Sorry for that little interjection of some sadness here, but it's just showing that we support CT here, and we want the best for him. So we'll just be sending good vibes. Hopefully the litigation goes more smoothly, and yeah, hopefully that CJ can get all the love that he needs from both of his parents, and that this will be resolved quickly, hopefully. Back to this episode. Do you want to just get right into these ratings? I guess we already started talking about Wes and Zara, and we started talking a little bit about Janae and Grant. And I was saying, as much as I didn't like what she did at the beginning of the season, I hated them going out like this. I hated it.
Yeah, this was probably the worst luck on top of bad luck. I mean, who would how did that happen? I mean, just ridiculous to get injured on an inflatable, going the absolutely wrong way, drifting to the left too much, going off sideways. It's baffling. And to go out like this, you don't ever want to see anybody go out on an injury, but to go out like this was rough to watch. But yeah,
now I didn't look properly back in like I didn't rewatch this part specifically, which I meant to, but I think I heard someone say that they were supposed to jump and land on the X on their butts, but that he kind of landed on his feet, if that's not mistaken, and that's what made him kind of not being able to have proper aim. I don't know. Did you hear anything about his technique?
I mean, he didn't do what everybody else did, but everybody else went like forward. They just like stepped off, like stepped straight out and went down, where he kind of turned to his like left and then kind of walked off, like kind of coasting to the left. And I think just that trajectory kind of carried him too far while he was kind of going down. Instead of everybody else just like taking one step forward and kind of just dropping straight down. So that's what I kind of gathered from it. And just the absolute worst case scenario happened at that point.
Yeah. So unfortunately, we're going to be losing the duo of Johnny and Grant this way on an episode where I wanted to see what happened naturally. I just wanted to see how it would organically play out. I never want to see anybody taken out being medically DQ'd, but especially this team when the team in power was Tristan and Kellyanne. I wanted to see them have to go and defend coming in last place. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to, like, before I realized that he got hurt, I was like, yes, they're in last place, just desserts. But just desserts isn't getting hurt and having to be DQ'd. Like, getting last place and having to go in and fight, that's just desserts. Or that's like getting what they deserve. But no, an injury, no, never.
Yeah, and with them being injured and being medically DQ'd, I'm in the camp that I was like 98% sure that Kellyanne and Tristan wanted to see Johnny and Grant squirm and would have sent in Yes and Emily against them. And that would have been a really tough elimination, having two really strong teams of Yes and Emily and Johnny and Grant. In any elimination, I would hope would be a really good one to see and see which team would come out on top. So I think that would have been super interesting to see. But alas, we will not see it.
We will not see it. It's such a bummer. Such a bummer. Well, let's get to the rankings for this week. So who do you have? How many people are left now? Oh my God. So little.
10 teams.
How do you have in your 10th position? And is it the same as I?
I don't think it's any. It's been on Jody. I have at number
10. Me as well.
It's just unless they win, they're not going to gain as much. They just don't have a lot of say in the game. If they're not winning, then they don't have any say. And kind of like what we saw this past week, they're just going to be, if they're not getting sent directly, if they're not getting sent directly in by coming in last place or winning into first place, it just seems like they are going to be just bundled up with whatever team is that people are willing to say, like Danny and Tori can't agree on everybody, but they can agree on sending in Jody and Benha. I mean, that's the kind of case it comes down to. So, yeah.
Yep. I mean, I don't have much more to say about them. I don't mind them being on the season. Like if they are able to kind of squeak by and get to the final, I'll be interested to see how well they are able to run it. But they don't seem to be able to get any power or joining the right alliance so that they're not the other vote. Like they've been the vote every single week, right? Except for one, maybe. I mean, they're almost always on people's lips. So I just don't see that going away. So yeah, I have them in my 10th position. If they gain some power, maybe they can bump out of this bottom spot here. And it's not to say that they are actually a super bad team, but they're just not doing anything intentionally from my perspective this season so far.
Agreed.
All right. In the next position, I have. I kind of still don't know how to scramble these out, but for right now, and everything can change, but I have Yes and Emily next up. Like I am super impressed by Emily's swimming abilities. I thought that it was amazing. That whole segment of having her swim dolphin-like, having the church hero music as she goes out to save Yes was super cool and amazing. And if they had end up winning, they would be at the top. But the fact that it would have been them going down in the sand against Johnny and Grant, they weren't able to evade the vote. And so I feel like, they are kind of getting the brunt of Sarah. So like Sarah, like Team USA. So Sarah and Danny have Emily and Yes on their side, their team. But I feel like people are taking shots at Yes and Emily to try to take shots at them. And it's kind of landing. They were going to have to go in if they didn't get medically DQ'd. So I just don't know if they're in a great position right now.
I can see where you're coming from. I do not have them this low, but they are in the bottom 5 for me. Mm-hmm. I have them at number 7 on my list. They did lose Grant, but I'm kind of viewing this that they still have a very strong hold with Sarah, who now with the USA fracturing could be seen as 1 and 2, kind of like they're each other's number ones. Technically, Danny is Sarah's number 1, so I mean that's going to be not going to be able to do well. But I just think that they're going to be a stronger team now that Yes and Zara are gone and Johnny
Okay.
and Grant, that maybe it opens up the door for Yes and Emily to maybe start picking it up, especially if their names are being said out there. But I can see where you're coming from.
Okay, so who
And
do you have in 9?
I know that they were the ones to take a shot at their own team this week, but I have Troy and Amber
Okay,
being lower on the list
I can deal with that. I can put Troy and
for
Amber
number
9.
9. I do love them, but with them kind of saying Yes and Emily's name, but also having Johnny and Grant leave this past week's episode, and now Australia's fractured, I wonder where their numbers are besides Darrell and Kiki. Because I think Ben and Casey did a great job of trying to lure them in, but I think that this one-time voting doesn't necessarily mean that, oh, we're going to be buddies and we're going to be alliance members moving forward in this game. I think that Ben and Casey would easily say Troy and Amber's name.
Mm-hmm.
And now that they decided to turn on Australia, that Yes and Emily would easily say their names like they did this past week. And then Tori would always say Amber's name. So, I mean, it's just like dog piles after that. And that's where my concern is with Troy and Amber.
Yeah, no, they were in my 8th position, so I can easily agree with you to move them to here. The reason why I had them a little bit ahead is because they didn't end up having their name be one of the 2 names that were going to be going down into elimination, and Emily and Yes did. I do agree with you, though, that Emily and Yes are better situated, but I also still think that Emily and Yes might have more shots taken at them due to the fact that they are connected so heavily with Danny and Sarah. So I'm still worried for Yes and Emily, but you're right. I do think that Troy and Amber don't have as much people working with them as Yes and Emily. So I can agree with you that 9th position would be better suited for Troy and Amber.
Okay.
Okay, so who did you have in your 8th position then?
I had Kellyanne and Tristan in my 8th spot.
Really? You let them be that far down even though they won power this episode?
They won power, so they went up like a couple of spots. But at the end of the day, their power didn't go to much efforts. And I will say that there is someone, lovable Nikki, who is questioning conspiracy theory hat that once Johnny and Grant got last place, that maybe since we didn't have a time at any of the bottom of the screens to see anybody's completed time, that maybe, just maybe, there's a little bit stirring of the pot from production wanting to make Kellyanne get revenge on Johnny and Grant for going into elimination. So I'm not trying to add that into the thought process, but Kellyanne and Tristan won this one. But moving forward, I mean, they're going to have to win more because Wes is gone, who I think was in Kellyanne's kind of boat there. And after that, I don't know who is in Kellyanne's boat besides Jazz, Jordan, and Kaz.
But are people going to care?
For what?
Like, so about Kellyanne and Tristan, like, are they going to still be gunning for her? Like, the only reason why people were really looking at her was because Johnny and Grant targeted them first. But I think she still will have bananas that will slightly protect her, or at least be able to vote in numbers with. Let me put Kellyanne up on the screen too, so we can see her. I don't know. I don't have her at 8. I had her. I wasn't sure where to put her. I had her floating higher, like in the top 5, just for the fact that she was able to beat everybody in that daily. But 8,
okay.
8. I don't know if I can put her at 8. 8 seems a little bit low.
Okay, well, let's put a pin in Kellyanne and Tristan, and we can agree that out of 7 and 9 to balance out 7 and 9 that we did, we can put Yes and Emily at 8.
Okay, I can work with that. We're not sure what we're doing with Kellyanne here. Okay, but Yes and Emily will be 8. It's all really confusing because like we don't like when we don't have proper eliminations or you know what I mean, like outcomes, like it's hard to really judge what's actually happening and how to really rank people.
Yeah. Well, and the good thing is that with all this division in the country lines, this is almost like a reset for maybe Benhan, Jody, and Kellyanne and Tristan, who have been like the bottom feeders of this season, that maybe they can start wiggling their way up to being numbers week in and week out for certain sides of the house, depending on who wins and who loses. So you're holding on to hope that maybe Benhan, Jody, Kellyanne and Tristan, or some of these other teams that have been nominated over and over and over again could somehow find their footing with, say, an Australian numbers who are kind of splintered, the U.S. numbers who aren't getting along with each other. So that's my hope for these teams that are kind of lower and kind of maybe smaller numbers in their own countries, that maybe they can do something moving forward and get it, wiggle in, you know?
Well, and if Jordan and Kaz are to win next episode, though, I do think that Kellyanne and Tristan will be safe in that scenario. Well, like because like that's the only other UK team that's left in the game, right? Is that correct? Yes. And so
Yes.
I do think that people are saying that no one's protecting Kellyanne, but I think that Jordan and Kaz would. I think that a little bit Bananas and Justine would. And I'm looking at it from this episode, right? I'm not looking necessarily on projecting what is going to happen in future episodes because we didn't really have a conclusion in this episode properly. But okay, so who did you have then next up?
I had at number 6, my number 6 that I floated out there was Bananas and Justine.
Did I have those next? Yeah, all the numbers are kind of wonky. I could.
Well, now that we're at number 7, technically, we're at number 7, technically.
Yeah, no, I had Ben and Casey there, but I could swap them for the fact that they did win their elimination and they came back into the house. I could see that they are doing better, even though they're having to flee from Danny not being happy with them, as well as Sarah not really wanting to work with them. They did prove their worth and go down and come back out. So I could put them ahead of them. But then I could also say that like they have a target on their back. And so I don't know if Bananas and Justine do, just for the fact that Justine is able to, I think, keep them safe from Danny and Sarah because they like Justine.
I had Ben and Casey higher for the way that they won the daily, and then 2 had the gumption to go up to Troy and Amber after Tori, a person who is a part of the top 4 in Casey's like numbers. They give her a name that isn't Ben and Casey. They could have easily just sat on that and been like, cool, Troy and Amber's the name. We're just going to say Troy and Amber and burn vote another player and we'll be all fine. But they decided to take the game in their own hands and decide that they're going to take that information to then burn the bridges of the Challenge Australia, while also getting Yes and Emily to possibly go up against Johnny and Grant, a very duo, and then maybe also split up Emily with Sarah at the end of the day if they were to have done an elimination, which I was very surprised with Casey. I don't know if this was Casey's doing or maybe Ben from his Survivor background wanted to do this, but I just was like surprised that she did that to Tori for first of all, and then actually wanting to like make this move because we've never seen this from her. She never had to do this. She always lays in wait. She has the numbers, and this season she feels like she needs to actually be proactive in her game. And I just thought I was very impressed with that. But I'm okay with putting them lower.
Wait, you had them at what, 5? You said?
No, I
Oh,
never said where I had them
oh,
because
sorry.
I don't
Next.
want to say it
Oh, are
if
gonna
people
come
are
for
going to
you?
get mad at me. But I did have them at number 2 this past
2?
week. I had them at 2.
I can't give them 2. Okay, 2. Okay, I will agree with Bananas and Justine being next.
Okay.
I don't know if I can put them at 2. Like that's just wild. Okay, so Banana and Justine. Do I have them on the screen now? Good. So what that is? That's 7.
Yes.
Okay.
Why is 2 insanity? They actually did something this week. Like they won something in this game. You know who hasn't won anything and barely gets any confessionals? Jordan and
Bananas.
Kaz.
Oh, okay.
And Bananas. So like, oh yeah, I had the person that won. I had a team that won a daily an elimination and actually did some actual strategy this episode, in a higher position. Sue me, don't sue me, but you know what I'm saying.
Oh my god, this yours. Sorry, this is amazing. Okay, we don't know. Kelly and Tristan are going to come after this, I think. I feel like this is where they should go. Okay, so Bananas and Justine, I feel like it should be coming in about here. Obviously, I didn't like what am I missing?
I'm just reading Lovable Nikki's saying my bad. Chill on Drew, people.
Oh, it's coming to support you. Oh my gosh.
Also, I know if Danny pops in and then sees that I put Ben and Casey at number 2, he is not. I'm not going to be high up on his power rankings. So my bad.
Oh, I mean, I wouldn't let that happen. It just could not happen. It's too. It's no. So yeah, so Willie has a good point here. Bananas did put a target on his back that could affect him down the line. I mean, I personally think that Justine will be protecting Bananas here. I don't think that Sarah wants to throw Justine down, even if she can't stand Bananas or can't stand how Bananas speaks to her or that whole argument that they had this episode. And so I do think that Justine is kind of like a shield for Bananas here. And so I don't think that they're going to come for him or the fact that they don't want to come for Justine. I think that he's actually protected by her, to be honest. But they haven't been winning any dailies, even though I thought it was an amazing little segment where he was like, Justine's so worried that she can't swim and then she takes off like Michael Phelps. She swam pretty well. I thought she did a good swimming job. Maybe it's stamina she's not that great at, but she did a great job swimming, in my opinion. She's not like a weak link on their team, but they don't gel enough to do super well to get some power, right? They haven't gotten any power yet this season, right?
No, but they were close last week. They got like
Right.
second place, I think, with 14.
We're
I
assuming
mean,
we didn't get to see, but yeah.
they're doing pretty decent in the dailies. My thing is, I keep on going back to the first Challenge Official podcast with John A., who said that a lot of the people that played in last season, 38, are still traumatized, that they don't want to win because that puts a target on their backs. So it's like, are we getting the same thing where Bananas is being like, I'm throwing every challenge, or is he actually trying and not winning? Because
I think he's
we're
trying and
getting
not
down
winning
to,
this season.
I mean, we're getting down to 10 teams. One team will get into power, one team will go directly in, and then you have 2 people that will be nominated. That's only 6 safe teams at that point. Well, 7 if you're winning, but you only have so many teams that are up for grabs every single week. Like, you need, if you're going to start winning and putting together some momentum, now's the time to do it. So
it's scarier now though, because like chances are most of the teams that are going to be Team USA that you're going to have to choose between. So it's getting down to the needy greedy. Oh, Gobble Gobble wants to smooch Justine. Okay, it's the lipstick's fire. Not gonna lie, and she's gorgeous in this shot.
The
Full
only
show.
thing that worries me about Bananas and Justine is if they go into elimination. Not saying that they're bad at eliminations, but it's just the worry that they come across something that isn't their forte. But that's the only way I see them going into elimination anytime soon. So we'll have to wait and see. There's still a lot of people left to go to be bad, and they
Right.
have not been absolutely terrible yet.
Agreed.
Or at all.
I don't think that they'll be last place ever this season. I don't see that for them. Um, I hope that they win some power. I would like to see what they do with it, but
I
they
would
haven't
like to
done that
see it.
much.
Yeah.
All
The
right,
only
go
worry
ahead.
is that if the teams, like, if every other team sees that, like, a USA team wins into power, if all the teams just gather around to send in 2 USA teams. Like, that
Sorry,
would be
say
super
that again.
interesting.
Say that last
So
bit
if
again.
so if like Bananas and Justine win into power, like all the other teams kind of like gather the numbers and they're like, we want to send in 2 USA teams, kind of like how the US
You're right,
wanted to do
right.
with Darrell and Kiki winning and then sending 2 Australian teams in. Like that would be pretty insanity at that point. But
Mm-hmm.
we'll see if that ever happens. If that ever happens.
Wait, has a USA team won power? Hold on. Bananas and
It
Justine has
was
not. Theo and Sarah have not. Danny and Tori have not.
no. Ben and
Who's
Casey have not.
Oh my gosh. So they haven't had to. So they've literally just been able to control who's going down, but they actually have not had the masses being able to control who they have to choose between. Interesting.
Yeah, because it's been 2 Australians and then 2 UK teams that have won, and that's the only 4 dailies that we've had in
Right.
power. And then you
Huh.
had Zara and Grant win the first one. So yeah, around 5-ish. So yeah, it's only been Australia and UK who has won.
That's really, and they're the ones that are just going home. That sucks. So
Yeah, that did. Yeah.
with this format, it just seems as though maybe it's better not to get any power because the masses will just try to sabotage your country. Wow. Okay. Well, I just noticing this now.
Numbers. That is
Yeah.
true though, because if the US doesn't, I mean, if they all vote together,
Yeah.
then they would
Well,
have the
ish.
majority vote going in.
Yeah.
And then Jordan and Kaz would vote for whoever Danny and Tori would vote for, as long as it's not Jordan and Kaz. And yeah. So yeah, that's the thought process of not winning or getting last place is you would have all the numbers in the voting ceremony then.
Yes.
So yeah. That could be a possibility.
Huh. So maybe he isn't trying to win.
Maybe.
Because if he does win, they will likely to throw in a US team.
Possibly, yeah.
Because that would be, you can gather all the numbers against them in that scenario. Yikes. Okay, well, can we put Kellyanne and Tristan next? Is that fine now, everybody?
I think that's a good compromise.
Jeez Louise. No, I had them higher. The reason why I had them higher, Lovable Nikki was giving me heck here. And it's because, like, for this particular episode, without conspiracy theories, what I watched, they did the best in the daily. And they had the power this week. And so we didn't get to see them utilize the power. We didn't get to see who they threw down, who came out. But so that we didn't get to fully see what they did with their power. But they went all against all these other amazing teams and they came out on top. And so I wanted to reward them for that because, Johnny was not. Don't kill me. It's about that time. So yeah, I felt that though they need to be rewarded for the fact that Janae and Grant didn't feel like they were going to be worthy competitors, and like they weren't scared of them coming back or scared of them winning anything, and then they were able to win and be in a power position when they had kind of their nemesis this season down in the sand. I just thought that they deserved to get some props for that.
I mean, it's very impressive that they won this specific daily challenge, especially with an Olympic swimmer out there. And I wish they would have been able to go through with being able to put somebody in or being able to leverage their power into maybe if we don't put you in this week, maybe we can be in a truce kind of thing. I mean, they don't even get to even. That's the thing is like because there was no elimination, they can't even like like
leverage their power. Yeah, absolutely.
or like it's null and void. Even if they did that, saying like Yes and Emily came up to them and they're like, okay, well, we want to be in your numbers, so let's do a 3-day alliance or whatever, and we can do a trial run. So if we don't say your name and send you in against your friends, then we'll be cool. But now it's like that's null and void now because everybody's walking back and they never had to make that choice. So they never even had to like pony up. So it's kind of frustrating in that
it
aspect.
sucks for them for sure, because they finally won some power and they did not get to utilize being in that position, getting in those conversations, making those deals, alliances, agreements. They didn't get to do any of that. And like you said, if they did make any of those alliances, it's null and void because they didn't have to follow through. So for the fact that we didn't get a full elimination, I can knock them down a couple for sure. So Tristan and Kellyanne are here. It's about damn time, says little Nikki. Who do we have next then, Drew?
I'm going to go with a team that is Jordan and Kaz. Because
okay,
they haven't won anything. They are getting close, so I can see bumping them up a little bit because they have gotten some second place finishes. But my goodness, just win. I need points, and you need safety, Jordan and Kaz. Your names are still on everybody's minds. Your names are on the tip of their tongues. Can I just say, how is it like a slap in the face? Like, I wonder how Danny felt when Tori's like, I'll burn vote on Jordan and Kaz. And it's like, that's what we wanted last week.
mm-hmm.
And now we get to vote for Jordan and Kaz this week, but it's just a burn vote. Nobody's gonna vote for them anyways. It's like so infuriating, I would think. But they don't get much confessionals. Their strongest ally is Tori, who is partnered up with Danny, who is like wanting to take out Jordan and Kaz so bad and send them in. And then Kellyanne and Tristan are the only real alliance that will never say their names. But how much power can they really have in this game? So as of right now, because they really haven't done too much in this game, their names have been coming up and they haven't won anything. I put them at number 5.
5, huh? I had Darrell and Kiki in next. I feel like Darrell and Kiki, they're kind of, they made a move, whatever. Like they didn't do as poorly as I thought they were going to do. Like I thought that they were most likely going to go for the safe route and throw in, I think it was Benha and Jody or somebody else, Tristan Kellyanne. Like I thought that they were going to not make any waves. And so the fact that they did throw in Casey and Ben, I was like, okay, they did something a little bit different than I was expecting here. But then when he couldn't like back it up with like a reason as to why they threw them in, I was like, Darrell, what are you doing? Like, why aren't you able to think of a good excuse? Like, I was saying they could have easily said, oh, well, you guys finished second to last in the daily, so we just wanted to be diplomatic about it and we just put you guys in. That was one thing. People were in my chat were saying a whole bunch of different things that they could have said instead of like, I just looked and I didn't know what to do and I just chose you. I don't know. And so for that reason, I was just like, I can't give you any credit for anything that like you couldn't even back up why you threw them down there. I don't know. So I wasn't really impressed with their person that they threw down and then their rationalization at the end. I don't remember how they did on the daily, so it must not have been impressive. And we didn't really hear that much from them other than the fact that he didn't know what to say to Casey and Ben. So
I will say that Ben was on the Challenge Official podcast and he said that Darrell did come to him later and threw Emily and Sarah under the bus. But I guess he didn't want to do that right then and there. In front of the cameras, maybe everybody saw Ben and Casey going to talk to Darrell and Kiki. So it's not like he wanted to say something and then Ben and Casey instantly run off and tell, oh, he said your name or whatever. Like once they knew like, hey, we're talking in the living room, dining room table. Casey and Ben are sitting on the table asking us questions and we're singing like canaries. So maybe that was a ploy to where Darrell was kind of trying to be like, whatever, I don't know. But it was pretty bad. He should have just said the daily challenge and that could have been it.
please, like easy. Yeah, come on. Like I so how high did you have them?
I
Number
had them at
1?
4.
Number 1?
I had them 4. So when
4. Go ahead.
we're on 5 right now, so I mean it's only one step higher. I did it one step higher because they've won something, and that they had some power this past week's episode and sending in Ben and Casey into elimination and taking a shot at the USA numbers, hoping that West would actually win, and then USA could have been down at least certain down a team, making Australia the power team of having 4 strong members. But that's where I had them.
Well, I just think that even though they haven't won power, that Jordan and Kaz are consistently better.
Okay.
So is our compromise Darrell and Kiki now, and then next is Jordan and Kaz?
Yeah, we could do that.
All right.
Because
so-
we can make the argument that with the Australian team fractured, now it's coming down to where are their numbers coming from?
Mhm.
Will they be insulated enough? I feel like Darrell and Kiki are going to have to start winning again. So
I don't. Yeah, I definitely don't think that they have any protection. And I don't know if they are going to be better than Jordan and Kaz at more things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that means Jordan and Kaz are 4. Right. But I'm sorry, I'm not on that screen, so I don't see.
Where is Ben and Casey? You know where Ben and Casey's on my list.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
we're getting to them.
Oh my gosh. Really?
Where's Ben and Casey?
I'm scared. I'm scared. Okay. Okay, the top 3 is really hard here, right? Because none of them did super well in the daily as far as we know. Do you really have them at number 1?
Who, Ben and Casey? No.
Okay.
No, I have them at number 2.
Oh, okay.
But I'm cool with flipping them around. Look, everybody, Ben and Casey won the elimination. They got blindsided. They won the elimination. They took out a strong team that has won. Well, one person has won 2 daily challenges. And then they used whatever little power they had to then flip Troy and Amber on their own country's alliance. So that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying. They're using, and they're part of US. We don't know exactly if they're totally fractured. I'm just saying that's where I have them because they actually did something this past week and they haven't really been in power. I mean, Darrell and Kiki taking a shot at Ben and Casey came out of left field for me. So I'm just saying this isn't my favorite team. Look, do I look like Chris? Do I talk like him? No, I'm not Chris. Okay, I'm not wearing a cowboy hat. I'm not over here batting for Ben. I'm just saying they did something, you know?
Okay, they did something, which was allowed them to be up this high. I think I can't have them higher than 3rd position here. For the fact that they have Sarah and Danny pressed and they are not going to allow them to get away with anything. I think that they're going to be running away from Danny and Sarah for a while. If maybe they're going to be able to mend fences and be like, we won't attack each other for the next little while, but if it's down to the final 4, just USA teams, they're going to be the first to go unless they win some power. So I think I had to put them in the 3rd place here.
I'm cool with that.
You're just scared of the chat.
I'm in my villain arc right now.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
I was getting called out in Discord earlier for stuff that I said on Tiny Table Talk, and now it's like now I'm getting massacred in this chat for Ben and Casey. Everybody should have known this. If you watch Tiny Table Talk, I made them the MVPs of the week. All right. You should have known. You should have known this was coming.
Wow.
But I do agree that people are saying that they do have enemies. Like, we don't know where their numbers are moving forward. I know Tori wants to save Casey, but we know how Danny feels about Ben. It's going to be easier to say their names now that they've seen the sand. It's just, this episode was where rubber was going to meet the road in whether they were going to be put in via the vote, and their names barely came up. So that's where I was like, okay, I'm actually impressed that their names weren't even considered to be brought up, even though Ben went rogue last week. So that's where I have them this high. If they would have been said to go down there, they would have been instantly bottom 5. And that's where the decision was for me. So
people are here for it, Drew. Get saucy. Get saucy. Hold on. Oops. Where did this go? BBG says, I like when Ben said that Sarah and Danny forgot that he won Survivor. Pretty sure Sarah remembers playing Winners at War with you, Ben, and that you were the worst player on that season. Well, he did give up his game for Sarah that season.
Yeah, he
did. Which I hated. I hated that.
Me too.
I hated that. It's true. He is scrambling, and it is decently fun to watch. Like, I like people coming for Ben. I like him, like, blah, like it's actually kind of entertaining. And I don't know who said it, but Ben is making Casey interesting. Who knew?
Well, that is very interesting. That's good. But also, I think it just helps that she doesn't have like built-in numbers already. Yes, she has Tori and Bananas and people that she's played with recently, but being with Ben and not having Fessel and Nani to like also be a part of her web has made her try to be resourceful and have to run around the house and like come up with creative ways. So I'm here for it, so we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see how it's going to go.
Going on. Okay. So I think that as much as I love Danny and he's my favorite player this season, I believe that Sarah might be in the number 1 position this week for the fact that she stood up to Bananas. And like, we didn't see the whole fight and situation, but she got him so mad that he had to get up and walk away. He wasn't able to continue to face her. And so that means that I will have Danny and Tori in the number 2 position here, and then Sarah and Theo in number 1. What are your thoughts?
I actually had Danny and Tori at number 1.
Ooh, okay. I'm not against this, so let's hear it.
I don't know if it's just this. I can't go off of anything this week because they didn't win the daily challenge, and this is difficult because I think both Danny and Sarah had Bananas pressed a bit. I think Danny said way more than what was shown in the edit during that. But I just think that Tori and Danny are so proactive on the season. I mean, can I just say, I think Tori wanted Bananas to just shut the F up and not get involved in that conversation whatsoever. Like, she had sat down with Danny and Sarah and was like, this is the thing that I want to say. Jordan and Kaz are kind of off the table. UK has won. They're not going to be sent in. There's only 2 UK teams left, as well as these people already said they're not going to say their names. So what's the next name? And she even put that out there, like, what's the next name? And Danny and Sarah were like, we're going to play ball and everything. And then all of a sudden Bananas walks out there and all hell breaks loose when he has to like try to tell them, do his gestures and talk about like not looking too far into the future. And then things just tumble downhill. And I love watching other people in the room and just Tori's face just being like, you're ruining everything. I had this under control. Like, we could have had this done in like 10 minutes. We would have had 2 names and I would have filled you in the room. But he had to go out there and now it's like all hell broke loose. So I don't know why. I just really liked her taking charge in that moment. And then but I can see where people are coming from, that maybe with the pressure from Theo at the table, maybe that was a little bit more of a power move to get them off their toes. Like if Danny and Tori would have gotten their way with being able to go last, that would have been a pretty powerful move for them. But with Theo kind of taking charge and being like, no, put your cards out on the table, So maybe I mean it's 1 and 2. I mean we're talking about razor thin margins in my book.
And
So
they're
I mean
working
they're still
together,
really good.
so
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
really So I mean honestly it doesn't matter. I just had Danny and Tori ranked number 1. I just think that they're a better duo overall, even though they're not seeing eye to eye. But maybe for this past week's episode, I will go with Theo and Sarah at number 1 for everything that they were able to accomplish this. Also, Theo took to Twitter and says that he was able to launch Sarah over the crossbar, over the highest crossbar, and they were able to finish out the swim, but they never showed it, which was very disappointing.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's awesome. I would have liked to see the times. That would have helped with these rankings. But I think for this week that yes, I agree. I felt that way from the beginning. Sarah and Theo were just a margin had better visibility this week in what they accomplished this particular week. They're 1 and 2. They're playing well together. I support their game. I support who they're going after. Like I am here for the game that Sarah and Danny are playing, but I think that Sarah just did a little bit better this week. A little bit.
Yeah, I can see that.
Just a little bit. You're fine with this? Okay, good. Well, let's look at our whole list this week. All right, let's get down here. Oops. Oh. Okay, starting. Well, they're eliminated for now.
Oh, it's rough. It's a rough one. John A. and Wes gone.
Okay, so at the bottom of our list here, Benha and Jody, do something, please. Please. Troy and Amber, we know she's going to be gone soon. Eek. Yes, and Emily, I would love to see more from them. Bananas and Justine, I'd love to see more from you as well, but you might be avoiding elimination or winning power. Tristan Kellyanne, please win again. Darrell and Kiki. Oh, why did it skip that one? Okay, well, Jordan Gaz, Ben and Casey. I can't believe they're in third, though. I'd still feel it's high. Danny and Tori, sorry, you're number 2 this week. And Sarah and Theo taking the numero uno spotto. Well, how do you guys feel about our rankings? Who did we rank too high here? I have a feeling I know, but let us know in the comments who you think we ranked too high this week. Do you have anything else to say about our rankings or this week episodes? How do we feel?
I am hoping for a shakeup now that some of the country lines are kind of getting muddled, because we knew that wasn't going to last the whole time. So I'm happy that it's finally kind of shaking up. Teams are fracturing, and I'm wondering how we move forward in the game. I want to see something happen. I want to see new teams winning, and I would like to see new teams in the hot seat. So let's get it going.
I mean, it might happen now, right? Because like a team that could be winning could be Wes and Sarah, right? And now they're gone, they're out of there, and so it's going to be most likely teams that haven't won before. Like it could obviously be Tristan and Kellyanne again, but everybody else has not won yet, have they?
Which one? What?
No, like all the teams that are left, only Tristan and Kellyanne have won before, correct?
Correct. It was Zara, Grant and John A. Wes and Zara?
I think so.
And then
Darrell and Kiki are still there. So they also have won before. So other than Darrell and Kiki and Tristan and Kellyanne, no team has won. So the likelihood of a new team winning some power is great. So yeah, let's shake it up. We're at episode 7. How many episodes this season? Is it 10 or 12?
I think it's supposed to be 12.
Okay, so way over the halfway point now.
We're getting there. I will say we didn't get a mid-season trailer this past week for at the end of episode 6, which I was expecting it to. But maybe they're not doing one because it would be too telling or too revealing of who makes it farther into the season. So maybe that's the case, but Yeah, I don't know. I was expecting a long trailer at the end, but it just showed what was going to be happening next week, which looks to be a mini final, which I'm very excited for.
Yeah, the mini final is as the next
It seems that way. They're
daily.
going to a giant castle and they're have their partners chained up somewhere and they're
Love
going to have to
it.
be
Yeah. I
yeah, so I
forgot.
think it's going to be really fun.
Love it. Yes, I'm here for it. Love the season. Let's hear how we're doing in these in our no? You're
I
hoping
don't
I'd forget?
I don't wanna.
You don't wanna. You don't wanna.
All right. I mean, I didn't think you would want to either.
Uh-oh. I know I've lost 2 power players for sure.
You lost 3
3
total players this week.
huge
Yeah.
players.
But you're
Let's
not in
hear it.
last place. That's reserved for me. I'm in last
Ah!
place. I do want to say congratulations to all of us. We're all in the 200s now. So we're all relatively kind of close with each other. But we're all in the 200s. I'm at exactly 200 in third place. I got about 29 points this past week. Thankfully, Tristan and Kellyanne won, or I would have gotten like 0, like terrible points. Not good points whatsoever. So I'm at 200 on the dot with Kellyanne as my number 1 scorer at this moment with 42 points. So thank you, Kellyanne. Team Chantele, you're in second place. You got 27 points this past week, and you got a total of 216 points. You are down to 4 players, but 4 strong players of Danny, Theo, Justine, and Yes.
Okay.
So, but you have 260 points. Your leading scorer was Grant, who also had 42 points, but Danny is close with 38 points. So you're still in good hands. And Chris, my gosh, Chris cleaned house this past week. He did lose Wes, which is a big win for us, me and you. But because Ben and Casey won the elimination, he got double elimination points, and they're both on his team. And he got 64 points this past week.
More than both of our points combined? Get out of here.
Ben and Casey were Ben had 11 confessionals. Casey had like 8 or 9. So those two
Like,
combined with 6 elimination points got almost like all of those points. Almost half of his points come from just those 2 players. But he got 64 total points, skyrocketing him from second place to a commanding lead of 246 points. And he only has 2 people gone now. He has Claudia and Wes gone. So he has he's 30 points ahead of you. So he's in first place. 30 points separates you and him from second and first, and 46 total points separates me and him from third place. So yeah, he's swimming in points. He's swimming in players. I mean, I have 2 players gone too, but I also have like Kellyanne, Tristan, and Jody, who are always on the bottom. So I'm worried about my team at the moment.
My God. Gobble gobble, you're right. It is like whose line is it anyways, where the points just don't matter. Did you ever watch that show?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
But this is where my frustration is for Jordan and Kaz, because they each got 1 point and came in second place. So close. But at least Kellyanne and Tristan won, so they got me 10 points. But still, I almost wanted Darrell and Kiki to say Jordan and Kaz because I wanted them to at least get some points. Maybe win against Wes and Zara and get me more points. I need them to get more confessionals, which is frustrating, but yeah.
I'm kind of bummed though that I have so few players. Like, it's so annoying. So can you just tell me which players Chris still has?
He has Kiki. Hold on. I just closed it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's all good. It's easy to open up. He has Kiki. He just lost Wes, but he has Kiki, Sarah, Bananas, Casey, Benha, Emily, Darrell, and Ben. He lost Wes and Claudia.
That's commanding. That's commanding team right now. Seeing how the season goes.
Yeah, it is rough. I mean, he's coming off of Kiki and Darrell winning and getting a lot of confessionals the previous week, and then Ben and Casey having a ton of confessionals and winning an elimination this past week. So, I mean, Also, you lost points for the DQ from Grant um, and John A. So that also played a factor in this. But yeah, he has a lot of strong players left. I mean, the closest one that comes into worry points is like Benha is the one that I feel like could be in the hot seat in his anytime soon.
Get rid of him. I need him out. I need him to lose some players. Chris cannot win this draft and not be here. I can't have it. I cannot have it.
I mean, he did win USA, so I mean, he has a foothold in this spinoff at least. So
I mean, I feel like I should be doing well as well. Anyway.
You were in first place the whole time.
No, I know. And I feel like I could get back there. I think
you can.
It's possible. It's possible.
I don't see any of your 4 players leaving anytime soon.
I hope not. And I just hope they just start confessionaling and, winning things. That'd be great. Well, that is it for this episode of, power ranking episode of the Challenge Global Championship, episode 6. Thank you, everybody in the chat. Do you have anything else to say, Angelcake, before we sign off?
Thank you for being here, and thank you for hearing me out about how high I had Ben and Casey. This will not be a reoccurring thing unless they actually start really playing the game, and then I'll continuously putting them high. But just saying, so.
I hope it's not a thing, because I feel bad for you. Like, people are coming for you with it. So yes, I don't want the people to turn on you. They're like,
I'm in my villain arc, I'm in my
villain era. Absolutely. Yeah. Confessionaling. I love making up words, yo. I guess I could do a little mini game. I do have something here. Were you thinking that you're getting, I guess I could. I just did a little bit of a mini quiz. That's all I really did today. So I'm just seeing how well we know of the countries that are being represented in this season of the Challenge Global Championship. So I'm just going to ask you a few little questions. You might not know them. We can guess here in the chat. We got some questions that we're going to ask. So the first one is, do you know what Argentina's national drink is?
No. Coffee?
No, it is yerba mate. Have you ever heard of that or tried it?
I've never tried it, but it does sound familiar.
Yeah, I haven't tried it either, but I believe it's like it comes in like I don't know if it's a coconut or some sort of container or whatever, and usually has a straw. I've seen it like in different shows where they're drinking yerba mate, but I have not particularly had it myself. Why don't you like games, Nikki? Games are fun. Okay. Oh, someone did guess mate. Get on it, Natalia. Good job. Good job, everyone. Okay. Another question about Argentina here. What inky utensil was invented in Argentina?
Was it the quill pen?
I don't know if it was quill, but the pen. You are correct here, Drew. Can you name any food that is from Argentina?
Oh.
Or invented in, or food-like things.
Invented in?
Or created or known for. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have no idea. The only best thing I know about Argentina is Lionel Messi. That's all I really know. They won.
Go ahead.
World Championship. They won a gold cup. FIFA World Cup, not Gold Cup.
And I believe that there's actually like a law that you can't name your child Messi. If I'm not mistaken, I actually think that they can't.
I'm cool with that.
They can't name their child after him.
You shouldn't, because you know what? That's putting too much pressure on that kid. He's going to grow up or they're going to grow up, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, you're named after the best person in the world from our country. So, good luck.
Right.
Good luck doing anything.
Yeah, no. This is correct. So asada is barbecue. So that is correct. Dolce de leche is also here.
Okay. I've had that.
Alfajores, which is like a cookie with jam inside, sometimes inside or mousse or a dulce de leche. Also, empanadas are something that was.
I do love me an empanada.
I do love an empanada as well, and chimichurri, a delicious kind of, I don't know, like topping saucy thing. I love chimichurri. I think it's super delicious. Also, choripan, which is like street food, as well as carbonara, which is a stew. And hambre arrollado, which is a flank steak stuffed with vegetables. So these are some things they're known for. What about the UK? What kind of things is the UK known for? What about, is there a famous footballer that the UK might be known for?
You got David Beckham.
Let's get it. Good.
Harry Kane.
Who? I don't know that one.
You got I'm thinking of some actors. Henry Cavill is also from the UK, right?
Yeah, there's tons. Yes. What about food wise? What would you say would be the UK's most famous food?
You got a shout out to Top Chef, who is in London right now. You got Bangers and Mash.
It's so good. That one was so good. That one where they had to reinvent like all the typical British cuisine was so freaking amazing. Yes,
my favorite show.
Oh my god, me too. I never cover it, but I love freaking Top Chef, and I'm so annoyed with Dale. Just saying.
I know we're talking about the challenge, and I've like made 800 videos of the challenge, but Top Chef is just like, you know what? It's 1A, 1B. You know, and I'm not going to say which one's better, but Top Chef is really good.
I love Top Chef, and I haven't watched it yet, but I have a friend that's competing on Top Chef France right now.
Ooh,
so
that's really cool.
That's really fun. He owns a restaurant in Montreal, and yeah, I'm like, I haven't watched it, but like, obviously, I'm rooting for him. But maybe he'll be on the next time that they bring all these, world chefs together.
That's really cool.
Absolutely, though. So we got to fish and chips, bangers and mash. Was it toad in the hole? Scotch egg,
spotted dick.
What about a famous landmark that helps you keep time?
Big Ben.
Big Ben is correct.
Thanks, Parks and Rec.
And maybe a rock band from Liverpool. Someone mentioned them.
Oh, the Beatles.
Yes, the Beatles from Liverpool.
The Beatles.
And what about I would say it would be their national drink. Not beer. It's a little more civilized.
Oh, tea?
Yes, tea. And where are Harry and Meghan banned from? Not banned, but pretty much.
Banned? Their castle in Essex?
What's the name of the castle?
The Queen's Place.
Close. Buckingham's Palace. And lastly, what is Europe's tallest Ferris wheel?
The Eye.
The London Eye is correct. Correct. What about Australia? What are some famous landmarks in Australia? One that you always see when you look at the shoreline of Australia.
If only I knew like that Nemo line verbatim. But the concert hall or whatever it's called.
Close.
The Sydney Concert Hall?
Sydney Opera House would be correct answer here. Now, what about, I think this is one of the 7 wonders of the world. What would you find this beautiful wonder here?
The Outback.
Okay, I'll take that. But I was going to say the Great Barrier Reef.
Yes, oh, yeah.
Great Barrier Reef is there. What about a jumping animal that has a nice little pouch?
There's a kangaroo.
And what do they call their babies?
They're Joey.
Joey is correct. What about a little eucalyptus eating animal?
That's a koala.
Yes, it is. And what about
one of my favorite animals?
I've never seen a koala. I heard that there might be actually more vicious than we would know.
They are very vicious, but I just like them
They're so
when I was
cute. They're just
growing
like
up.
you're like, ugh.
Them and killer whales were like my two favorite animals growing
Oh,
up.
killer whales, interesting. Koalas, I get. Killer whales, don't necessarily get, but
Free Willy. I grew up on Free Willy, and I used to watch that movie all the time. And then we used to have this like VHS docu series of like the ocean. And so I would watch all of those over and over again. And one of them was the killer whales, and I would just watch that. I ran that tape ragged. I loved the killer whales.
okay. Fun fact here from Chris: koalas have chlamydia in their urine, so don't let them pee on you. Okay. I did not know that I need to know that. I've only seen Free Willy once. I don't remember the movie though.
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means, Nikki.
Does it look like I have a harmonica? Wow.
What would you say
Wow.
the most famous greeting that an Australian might say to you when you meet up with someone?
Good eye, mate.
Good eye, mate. Is right. And what about their national dessert? Do you have any idea what this would be?
Thunder from Down Under.
No, do you know what that actually is?
Isn't that from Outback or whatever?
But you know what Thunder Down Under is?
No.
That's actually kind of like a Chippendales Magic Mike style dance group.
Oh, really?
I mean, there might
I thought
be
you were going to
other
say a fart or
terms.
something.
No, well, I mean, I just remember my friends, we used to dance in Vegas, and I went to go visit her, and one of her friends that I was meeting there was a dancer in the stage show Thunder Down Under, or Thunder from Down Under, and it was a Magic Mike style dance show where like men were being suggestive. So that's the Thunder from Down Under. But the national dessert is actually a pavlova, which is meringue and fruit.
Okay. I think I've heard of that before, but I didn't associate it with Australia.
Me
necessarily.
neither. But when I was looking things up, that's what I saw. So, lastly, you probably know everything about the US, but what would you say some of the landmarks or things that the United States are known for? I just picked a few. So, what is essentially USA? Let's hear some things.
Statue of Liberty comes to mind.
Yes, let's get it. Of course.
The Grand Canyon.
Yep. I've taken a helicopter ride over there. It's pretty fantastic.
Old Faithful. Is that something?
It's not on my list, but okay.
The Lincoln, the statue where he's like sitting down. That's a monument, right?
Yeah, it is, but it's not on my list. But another monument that it has some famous faces on a rock face.
Oh, Rushmore.
Yes. And what about where you walk down the street and there's stars on the road?
Oh, the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah, well, Hollywood in general. Yes. What would you say would be America's most famous food or most consumed food?
I'm going to say pizza.
No. This
Hamburger.
food has 150 million of them that is consumed on the 4th of July.
Oh, hot dogs?
Hot dog, diggity dog is correct. That's a lot of
Ridiculous.
freaking hot dogs.
And that's like a quarter of them is Joey Chestnut by himself. So, I mean, it makes sense.
Is that a champion? I don't know.
Yeah, he's the guy that like eats so much every single year. He wins the hot dog eating contest like every year.
Too many hot dogs. Oh my god, too many. Too many. Did you know that diners were invented in the United States? It's an American thing. A diner.
Interesting. I didn't know that. I thought we just took it from somebody.
No, it's you guys. It's a lot of wieners. Yes, it is a lot of wieners, Dolores. I'm sure this is not true, but I would go and see that for sure. So yeah, we got Statue of Liberty. Did we say Statue of Liberty? Oh,
I believe so. I think that was my first one.
What about some water that is shared site with Canada?
Viagra Falls.
It's not Viagra, but it's close. It's Niagara.
Oh, yeah. That's it. I don't know why I said
I
Viagra.
thought you were joking when you weren't.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't.
There is one of these in Florida, as well as a similar one in California, and now there's many of them all around the world.
Oh, okay, Disney. So
Yes,
Disney
World is your one.
Universal.
What would you say their national pastime is?
Baseball.
Baseball is right. Baseball. And I think that's
let's go Marlins.
Marlins. Okay, I don't know who those are. That's all I got for you, Drew. You did quite well, other than Viagra Falls.
It's close.
Are you taking Viagra? Is Viagra on the brain? Little blue pills?
No, I'm not.
Well, you did amazing. Thank you for indulging. Thanks for reminding me, Joanne, about my little giddy game. I'm always happy to stump Drew when I can.
I mean, I got stumped this time. I need to bone up on my
I wouldn't have known a lot of those as well. So
yeah, on Argentina world stuff. But yeah, Marlins is Miami Marlins is our baseball team. So they used to be the Florida Marlins, but that got awkward because we had Tampa Bay Rays since the 90s. So it was kind of awkward having the Florida Marlins and Tampa Bay Rays. So they named them Miami Marlins. So
okay,
yeah, that's who I root for.
Nice alliteration there, Miami Marlins. Let's do it.
Woo.
Well, thank you for indulging. Thank you, chat, for also participating here. You guys are the best chat in the business. You guys are my favorite for sure. Friday nights are my favorite as well. What do you have going on, Drew, that people can look forward to this week?
I will say that keep your eyes open for on Monday, because something big I'm putting out there on Monday that people have been waiting for quite a while, and I got done with it today. So I'm very excited for Monday at 11 a.m. And then weekly uploads after that.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah, 11 a.m. Yeah. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm very excited. So that's something to look forward to.
Sweet. And anything else you want to plug before we give the deuces?
Thank you everyone for being here, and we'll see you next week. Because hopefully we're gonna have some shakeups in the power rankings, and nobody will want to argue with me.
I mean, I like that when people are arguing with you. Wait, hold on. So Lauren is saying for you guys when you meet up with Chris next, Chris should quiz us on Aussie slang. Okay, we can pose that to him. That's fun.
You know what's funny is I started watching Love Island South Africa. That's on Peacock.
Oh.
And it's weird because I'll put it on while I'm working and all the guys sound exactly like Chris. And I think Chris is on my TV just talking.
Yeah. So maybe if he did or South African slang, that would work. But he lives in New Zealand, so he doesn't even live in Australia yet. I don't think he moved there again.
He can question us on Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit.
Yes, and the Kiwis, and that's all I know.
Flight of the Conchords.
Ooh, I've never actually watched that. Was that but there's something fluted. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah.
But
I know what you're saying, but yeah. I know what song you're talking about.
I don't remember what it is. Okay, so my friend that is on Top Chef France is Jérémy Felissard. Felissard. His restaurant, one is called Foie Gras, and the other is Barocco in Montreal. I believe they're both in Old Montreal, in the Old Port. So look him up, support him. Let's do it. Oh wait, I'll have to talk to Chris about not having a game. Love Nikki.
Fun fact. The next live that we're doing with Chris is going to be here on Reality Realness. So Chantele will be in the driver's seat, and she will do whatever she dang well pleases at the end of the day.
Nikki, games are fun. I like games. So, anyways, we'll see you guys next week. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to Angelcake Entertainment channel, which if you haven't done so already, please do. Like this video, let us know about our rankings, and give me some game suggestions of what we should do when it's the three of us back together. So that should be in probably about 2 weeks from now, maybe 3, depending on maybe after episode 9, maybe, or 8. So yeah, let us know what game, this is not talking to you, Nikki, that you would like us to play when the three of us are all back together. All right. Anyways, we'll see you next week. Ciao.